This is not working. Like, this is all off. Okay, try 3 here. I'm trying a new setup where I connect my camera to my computer so that I can actually see if things are in focus. I'm not sure why, but it's affecting like the white balance and how much like it's not letting me adjust things, and I'm not sure why. So I have to play with that. So I'm sorry that this is a little dark. Like, I have a ton of light on me, so I'm not sure why it's dark. Like, I guess I could try and move this closer, I guess. This is not like see, now it's in it's in the frame. Like, it's basically as close as it can be, and it's really bright, and for some reason that's not reading on camera. I'm gonna have to play with this, so I'm sorry about the quality. I'm sorry if you can hear the rain outside and the fan going. As with most of the US this weekend, it's blisteringly hot here. I have the AC going, but it's just not enough, so I have to have the fan going as well. Otherwise I will like die. It gets really, really warm in my room without the fan going. So I have it on like a lower setting, so hopefully it's not incredibly loud, but between that and like the storm going on outside, when I started this, there was no storm going on outside, but I had some issues, so now it's like all the natural light is gone from outside and it's storming and loud, which is fun. Anyways, I wanted to make this video, and I'll probably cut. Let me cut. So I don't think that this is working very well, but we'll just soldier on for right now, and I'll review it afterwards and see what's going on. Maybe I can find another software to use that isn't like the Canon one, because admittedly it's like, you know, the free software to do this. So maybe like something through like OBS or something. I can figure out something. I don't know. I feel like OBS is screen recording, but we're gonna try. So what this is about, like what I wanted to talk about today, was doing what you can with the limitations you have. Like, this isn't just for like chronically ill or disabled people, it's for anybody, because no matter who you are, you have limitations. Like, maybe you can't run fast and somebody else can, or maybe, you know, you're dyslexic and so reading is very difficult for you, and, you know, therefore you have to find a way around it. And I think no matter who you are in life, you have to find these workarounds, and you have to find a way to be able to do what you can do. And depending on who you are and what your limitations are, you know, you may not be able to do as much as somebody else, but with workarounds, I feel like you can at least achieve something. So I'm going to talk about like a change that I recently made. It's actually part of this because my setup is currently on it, but I bought like one of those bed table things, like that you put over your lap, but it has like legs and stuff, so the legs sit on the bed, and then you're able to work while sitting in bed. And to some people, I feel like they're like, well, you're never going to get out of bed, you're never going to do this, you're never going to do that. That's not the case. That's not why I bought it. Like, it's it's a tool. It's a tool to be able to do more things, to be able to shoot more videos, to be able to edit more, to be able to work on more artwork. I was actually able to try and work on some watercolor painting. I haven't been able to do that for months and months because I just haven't been, by the time I get everything set up, I'm so exhausted that I need to like lay back. And that's not feasible to do while working at my table that like I have my art stuff set up on. And so to be able to set it up on a table in my bed, and when I need to lay back, I can lay back. I can kind of be propped up from all sides if I need to be. Like, I'm able to adjust my work area to fit my needs better, and I feel like that's super important. Like, again, no matter who you are, whether you have disabilities, whether you're chronically ill or just a normal person, like, everybody has their limitations, no matter how big or small. But it's important to find these like workarounds that let you do what you can do. Like, maybe you can't do it the same way as somebody else, but you can find your own way to do it. So like this table setup has been wonderful because I've gotten so much more done because I can actually sit comfortably. I can lay down when I need to, and I don't have to put everything away. Like, it's all right there, and I can just lay back for a little bit. And it's not like, oh, okay, well, it's in a different room and I have to get up and get, everything all set up again or any of that. It's just on a table, and if I need to take the table off of my bed, I can just put it next to my bed, and when I need it again, I can just lift it up, and it's all like set up on there. So it was a great workaround for me. I think my mom was a little annoyed that I got it because she saw it as me like giving up and not wanting to leave my bed. And that's not the case. Like, it just allows me to do more while still being in bed when I need to be. Earlier today, I went out to shops. I was trying to be somewhat active. That was probably stupid given the heat outside, but I woke up feeling not awful, and I was trying to get a little bit done that I could. I kind of wanted to get out of the house and go like to the shops. I wanted to go pick up a couple of things from a craft supply store, so I was like, okay, I'll just run there. And then it turned into like, let's run to all the craft stores, which was again probably not the smartest thing to do, but it got me out of the house and got me doing something. But by the time that I got back, I was really starting to hurt. My back hurt a lot and it was really, really swollen. I was really nauseous. I was really lightheaded. And so to try and like do anything else where I was standing or sitting in like a normal chair without my legs propped up, I was finding it very difficult to do. And I knew that I wanted to kind of film another video because I don't want to fall in the same trap that I did before, where it's like I film a video and then it's like 4 months before I film another video. So I was like, I want to do a video today. I don't know what about, talking about something, but because of this new setup, I can film that video while sitting in bed. And it's not on like a crappy webcam or anything. It's on my camera. And it's easier to see what's actually happening because I can see it on the computer instead of trying to like the viewfinder is tiny. So like everything is much, much smaller on that. Plus like the lights and everything, it kind of blocks where the viewfinder is. So it makes it really, really hard to see what's happening. Am I in focus? Is the lighting off? It's, did something like one of the, what are they called? Like the stand that not the tripod, but like the part that sits at the top of the tripod that holds the camera that you can like adjust the angle and stuff. Did that fall out of like where it was supposed to be? So then, it just lets me see that stuff. We'll see how it actually works, because like I said, well, I don't know if I included it in this, but I'm having issues with like the lighting and adjusting white balance and adjusting like ISO and stuff. It's not letting me adjust it, so I think I'm gonna have to find a different software, but it at least lets me film something without having like, the current place where I can film is on the floor. So that means I have to get on the floor, I have to set everything up, which, isn't awful because I usually kind of leave it set up. And then I have to get on the floor and sit, and, it's kind of uncomfortable. And yeah, I could go and find a chair somewhere, but I wouldn't be able to get the lighting right. And it just, there's all this stuff that goes into like the behind the scenes of filming something, that it just makes it easier if I can do it in my bed. It's more comfortable for me, and I'm better able to set stuff up there. So anyways, this new workaround lets me do that. Another workaround that I've kind of been utilizing lately are audiobooks. So I love reading. I absolutely adore reading. I've always loved books. I read a lot of like sci-fi and fantasy type books, just as an escape. Like I see reading as an escape to another world. Like I like some historical fiction, and I like, learning about things, but when I read a book, I want to escape to somewhere else. I don't want like the problems of my life or the real world problems that are happening now bombarding me. I just want to escape. Like it's like watching a movie. Like, you usually don't pick the movies that are like, let's, I shouldn't say that because there are people who are, but like it's hard to explain, but I want to escape, and books let me do that. But as I've been getting sicker, I find it harder to concentrate on a book. I find my eyes kind of fall out of focus easier. So I really have to focus on the book itself. And then my mind just kind of wanders and strays, and like I get a lot of brain fog. So then I'm like, I don't remember anything ever talking about this. And sure enough, I read it, but it didn't comprehend it. So, it's been really difficult to keep up reading, which is so sad because ever since I was little, I've always read a lot. I was that kid that was like up at the top of like the summer reading program, because I was just like, doesn't everybody read like 2 books a day? Isn't that normal? I would literally, I would sneak flashlights into my bed at night so that I could read under the covers, because I didn't want to sleep. I just wanted to read. So like I'd get like a couple hours of sleep because I'd just be like reading, which is so stupid. Like, but that was something that I enjoyed, and I have friends who also enjoy reading a lot, so like it's nice to be able to talk about books with them and talk about like, oh, like I was reading this, and like, oh, I love that, or no, I haven't read that, what was it like, and stuff. But back to my workaround. Like I said, I'm having trouble like actually reading, so I've been utilizing audiobooks a lot. At first I was using LibriVox books, which is a great resource if anybody's out there who wants to read classics but don't feel like you can like pay attention or read them like in print form. These are all free. All the LibriVox recordings are free and in the public domain, which is awesome. I don't know if it's volunteers or if they hire people to do it, but it's all, it's all works that are in the public domain, so nothing newer. But, they have like Charles Dickens, and they have Jane Austen books, and you can tell what I kind of lean towards. I think they have like Socrates and Plato and the Bronte sisters, all of those kind of like classical books, those classics that you want to read. I want to say they had like Homer and, the Iliad and the Odyssey. So there were a lot of options, and you could pick, what you wanted to. So I listened to a lot of like Jane Austen. A lot of it gets lost on me. I don't know the historical perspective very well. Like, obviously I know a little bit, but I don't know the ins and outs of, I'm not sure if they were Victorian or Edwardian. They were kind of in that weird, like, transition period, I think, for time period for that. But, I don't know the ins and outs of, like, the social classes that they're talking about, like kind of the upper middle class, I suppose. Like, anyways, so a lot of that is lost on me, but they're still good stories. And listening to these LibriVox recordings allowed me to read them without actually having to read, that I could listen to them. And so that has been really nice. It's really, really nice to, have that for free. And I truly appreciate all the people who did these recordings. And you guys, like, if anybody sees this and goes and uses the LibriVox app or the ones that are uploaded to YouTube or whatever, please, like, leave them ratings, like and share them, because I think it's a great service to have these audiobooks of classic novels available to people for free. Like, they were completely free, which is great. So that is a great resource. And then recently I bought an Audible subscription. I've wanted one for a while. Like, it's something that I've wanted. And then I'm a Amazon Prime member, and for Prime members, I think it was just for Prime members, you get 3 months for $15. So it was like $5 a month. And that is a really good deal, considering, like, to buy audiobooks, you're talking at least $15 and probably closer to like $30 for a lot of the ones that I would want. So I got that subscription, and then you get a discount on additional audiobooks, so you can buy additional audiobooks beyond like your 1 credit. And then they have like a curated list of like 6 audiobooks that you can choose 2 from that you get for free with your membership, that are like Audible originals. But it's not, when I saw the thing on there, I thought it was like all Audible originals, and it's not. It's like this very short list that you can choose from. But still, like, to get 2 of those books and the book that I wanted, for $5, I can't complain. Like, so I'm really excited. So I'm definitely doing it for like the next 3 months while I have this, $5 a month subscription, and then we'll have to readdress it after that ends. But for right now, I'm enjoying it. I ended up buying one other audiobook because it was significantly cheaper than like the other ones that I wanted. And so I just used my discount to buy that for like $7 or something. And so that I didn't have to waste a credit on it, and I could just buy it. But I'm loving that I can, turn on a book and like if I'm not feeling good, I can just lay down and listen to a book being read to me, and I don't have to be trying to focus and stuff. And if I zone out, then I just kind of rewind and listen to that part again. Like, no harm, no foul. But it's just much easier for me to listen to it when I'm not feeling well than trying to read, and it has a tendency to not go well. That is something I really, audiobooks are something I really, really think that a lot of people should use more. Like, if you love traditional reading and don't have any issues with that, great. That's how I used to be. Like, seriously, I'd always be reading. And I'm a fast reader. I wouldn't classify myself as a speed reader, but I kind of accidentally use some of those techniques. So as a result, I'm a terrible speller. But I would get the gist of a page, but I just skim the page. It's really hard to explain, but it would be like I'd read really, really quickly over the page and skip some of the things. So a lot of times for like names that are spelled very strangely, I just make up my own name. Like, it might be something close to that, it might not, but it wasn't what was written. It would be, that is, so like with, this is so stupid, with Harry Potter, when I read those a long time ago, back when it was back before any of the movies and before even like the fourth book was released and stuff, Lord Voldemort was Lord Baltimore, and I have no idea why, but like, one, it's a really stupid name, and two, like, it really doesn't look at all like what's written, but I just skimmed it, and that's what was in my brain. And I've forgotten a lot of those now that I'm older, and like I tend to try and pay attention to the names a little bit more. But when I was younger, I'd be talking about this character, and they're like, who are you talking about? I'm like, this one. And they're like, there's nobody named that. I'm like, oh, it's the guy that's like does this. And oh, that's not his name. It doesn't really matter. I'm sorry to all the authors out there. Like, oh, that's terrible, isn't it? Like, they put such work into creating like this atmosphere and these names, and I'm just like, whatever. But anyways, what I was saying is that audiobooks like let you kind of escape into like a book, or learn something new from a book. It doesn't have to be, fiction. It can be nonfiction, without having to sit there and try and read it and focus on it. A lot of times I will listen to audiobooks while I'm drawing, and that way, like, I can have something going in the background and kind of like, something to listen to, but it's not like a TV show where I constantly have to be looking up at it, and it's not like music where it's just kind of mindless in the background. I kind of like that mix of kind of something to focus on, but at the same time you're able to do something else while listening to it. I swear I had another point. As for like Audible, like I'm really excited that I have it, but I completely understand that it's not approachable price-wise for most people. And like I said, after these 3 months, I will really have to like sit down and address, like, can I afford this, and is it really worth it? But there are these other options like LibriVox recordings that allow you to at least have access to some audiobooks. The other thing is libraries have audiobooks, and while most of them are on CDs, so you have to have a CD player or like a DVD player. A lot of DVD players will play CDs as well, or something along those lines that you can play that hard copy. I did notice that they're starting to get like these all-in-one kind of, like, they kind of look like a book, but they aren't. Like, they're plastic, and it has the recording in it. So even if you just need headphones to listen to it, you just plug into that, and I'm assuming you charge it somehow, like, but you plug into that and you can listen to it. And I was like, well, that's smart, because my computer doesn't have a CD drive. It's not like I have a CD player sitting in my room. Like, yeah, I have a DVD player, but not everybody's going to have that, like, where they need it to listen to audiobooks. So I thought that was really cool that they had that option, that it was like a self-contained way to listen to it. I haven't checked out my local library's website to see if there's audiobooks that I can download from there, but that also might be an option. Like, libraries are a great option for, you know, finding something that you want. Like, my local library, and I'm lucky, like, I accept that I live in a community that my local library is well funded. Not everybody is going to have that, but I'm lucky enough that I do. And so they have, you know, DVDs, and they have, you know, magazines, and they have audiobooks, and they have CDs, and I know I'm forgetting other stuff. I want to say they even have board games, but not any that I play. But like, they have all sorts of different things available for free. Like, all you need to do is live in the community. And a lot of times they'll work with other libraries as well. So if they don't have a resource that you want, they may be able to borrow it from another library, which I think is really, really cool. And if you want to listen to audiobooks, or maybe like you need some new movies or TV shows to watch, but you really can't afford like a Netflix subscription, or afford to buy new ones, try checking out your local library, because I'm astounded by the number of like DVDs and Blu-rays they have there available for you to just check out. So definitely check that out. And I know this kind of like snowballed out of my let's find a way around things into check out your local library, but I think like it's a really good resource, and it's a free resource. I mean, free, we pay for it in our taxes, but it's such a small portion of our taxes. And just give your local library some love, because there was some talks about defunding local libraries, because people have Amazon and you know, Barnes and Noble, and they have their Nook and their Kindle and stuff. So why do we need libraries? And there are so many things available at the library, and makes media much more accessible to the average person. Not to mention the number of people who go there to escape the heat. I mean, this summer it has been really hot, and I've noticed that there are a lot of people hanging out at the library, and I'm lucky enough that I have air conditioning, but not everybody does. A lot of people don't, or even if they have it, they can't afford to run it. And so places like libraries give these people a safe place to go where they don't have to spend money, but can cool off. The other thing is, a lot of libraries, offer classes and such, or like, events that it might be like, I want to say ours had like a cocktail event. Like, it was learning how to make cocktails. I know they've had like cookie decorating for kids, like just really, really random stuff. But it allows you to meet people in the community. It allows you to do this for free or for a little bit of money. I don't think they were all free. It allows for meeting spaces, and it's much more accessible than a lot of other places that even if they are free, like, they're just not, I don't want to, they aren't on a bus route, and they aren't like necessarily accessible for those who are differently abled. They don't have those resources there, whereas I feel like the libraries, because they're a public building and a public institution, that they have to adhere to these guidelines that allow you, even if you're differently abled, to get the help that you need there, to get the resources that you need there, that allows you to enjoy the same things as everybody else. I want to say ours has screen readers on the computers. I know that there's a lot of teenagers who go and hang out at the library and play Minecraft. I mean, as much as people pick on video games, it's such a large portion of our culture, and if you don't have access to those games, or if you don't have a computer that can run those games, or don't have a computer at all, it gives these kids an opportunity to feel normal. I think it's great. I'm sorry, this snowballed, like, talking about audiobooks, and now I'm like, and we're talking about libraries and how wonderful they are. But just to go back to the audiobooks, like, libraries are a great resource. They, like, my local one has a ton of audiobooks to choose from, but I could definitely see the some smaller communities or poorer communities not having those resources available. But because libraries are nationally funded, I think like a portion of it is nationally funded, I think there's a way to, like, request from other libraries. So just because your library is lacking a resource that you may want to try. Well, I have no idea when that stopped recording. I feel dumb. I'm hoping at least some of the library stuff recorded, but if it didn't, short summary is libraries are a great resource for, like, audiobooks and stuff. If your local library doesn't have those resources, doesn't have a lot of audiobooks available, talk to your librarian and see if you can request from another library. You may have to wait a while, but you might still be able to get these options that, you know, you can't afford but would like to utilize. So that's the, you know, short of it. I really hope some of it recorded, because it was a long rant about how wonderful libraries are and how we should not defund them. Libraries are important. So yeah, this got really long. I didn't mean it to get really long. I'm trying to think of, like, other things that I've done lately. It has been hard. Like, there's been a few things I haven't found workarounds for yet. Like, for about a week, ending a few days ago, I wasn't able to draw. I used, you know, art and drawing as, like, kind of an outlet, a way for me to cope with stress, to cope with like, depression, and all of that. I use art as a way to cope with that. It's a way to create something and bring it into this world and focus on creating something rather than just existing, I guess. It's really hard to explain, like, how I feel and how Like, I utilize art, but basically it's used as a coping mechanism. And earlier this earlier this week and like the end of last week, I wasn't able to work on it because I wasn't able to grip a pencil or a paintbrush or anything, because like my muscles were so tense and sore. Like I'd be able to hold like the stylus for my iPad for maybe 5 minutes, and then I'd literally be shaking from the effort of it, that like I couldn't utilize it anymore because my hand was like jumping all over the place, because it just it my muscles were so messed up, and we don't know why they were messed up, but they were really, really sore and really, really tense. And as a result, like I couldn't grip anything. And that was really hard for me. And I haven't found a good coping mechanism if it happens again. Like, normally I can find a way around it. And I remember like some ways around, like being able to grip things from friends who had like broken their wrist or something and had a cast, and so that it's hard to like grip something small and like write. And I remember them putting like balls on their pens and pencils so that they could like hold it was wider to hold, so that you didn't have to like grip close. But I don't think that would help me, because it wasn't just my fingers, it was like going into my arm as well. So I don't know if that would work. I kind of played around with just on my iPad utilizing my fingers, and again it was just like the dexterity wasn't there. I'm not sure why it wasn't, but I just couldn't really work it. I was able to like play games and stuff, things that like you don't have to have continuous lines that are smooth, that kind of thing. I was able to play games and things like that, but I wasn't able to find a good workaround yet for creating art, like drawing, especially like drawing on my iPad and stuff, when I lost dexterity in my hands. Even like I've done acrylic pours in the past when I haven't felt well, but in order to do that I have to be able to stand for a decent amount of time because of like the logistics of pouring and everything like that. And I wasn't able to do that this past week either because of my back. So it's just been like, you find these workarounds and then new problems or new issues come up and you have to find more workarounds. And like I said, this isn't just a chronic illness issue. It isn't just a disability issue. Like everybody, I don't care who you are, you have to find workarounds for certain things. Like I shouldn't say nobody, but everybody cannot do things the same way. Like we're all very different, and therefore how we approach something may be very different than the next person. And I don't want anybody out there thinking like they're less of a person or less able to do something because they use a workaround, because you can't focus on a regular book, so you listen to an audiobook. When I was growing up, there was definitely a stigma around that, which is just crazy. I think that has gone away. I don't think that's as prevalent these days, thanks to like things such as LibriVox and Audible. I feel like audiobooks are much more accepted. And maybe it's, part of like that we live in such a digital era where you're expected to do multiple things at a time, and it's something that allows you to do more than one thing at a time. Like, you can listen to an audiobook and be doing something else. But it's really nice to see that that's more acceptable now, that there's not this stigma associated with listening to an audiobook and that you're not smart enough to be reading, which isn't the case even if you have a hard time reading. Like, don't think because you have a hard time reading you are not smart, because that's not at all. Like, everybody has different intelligences, different ways of thinking about things, and different types of intelligence that they excel at. And don't think because you aren't as good as in one thing as somebody else that you aren't worthy, because you are. Like, just know that just because you use a workaround, just because you have to alter how something is done to make it work for you, does not make you less of a person. Anyways, I have rambled long enough. It's going to be another one of those, I just throw this into the editing software and post it. I am not up to like long editing and adding music and cuts and all of that right now. It's just a one and done kind of thing. I don't know. But hopefully, like, somebody finds these helpful and lets them know that they are not alone, and other people are dealing with stuff, and other people use workarounds, and other people struggle, whether they're disabled or not. Like, everybody struggles, and don't think that you are alone, and don't think that you're less of a person because you have to figure out your own way of doing something. So I hope everybody is having a good week, and if not, like, I hope your week gets better. And if you need to talk to somebody, like, send me, a DM on Twitter, or Instagram, or I think you might be able to do it on YouTube, I'm not sure. But, like, send me a DM. I'm more than willing to talk and, like, talk through stuff with you. And even if you just need somebody to vent, I'm here for you. So I hope everybody's doing great, and I'll see you guys.